Hi everyone, my name is Josh Pettovello from KORTX, and today we're going to be going over Answer Engine Optimization, or AEO, explaining what it is, how it's different from traditional SEO, and why in 2025 it's becoming one of the most important levers for brand visibility. I'll also share some practical steps on how to get started, what's driving this shift, a success story from one of our own clients, and how to measure if it's actually working for you. So, without further ado, we'll go through, answer some questions we received, and get. So, question one: how does AEO differ from traditional SEO? Why shouldn't brands choose one over the other? Sure. So, traditional SEO, it's all about helping your content rank in search engines like Google or Bing. Typically, you'd optimize for keywords, try to build your brand authority or domain authority, and compete for those top organic positions. That's still important. Don't get me wrong. In 2025, SEO, traditionally speaking, is still important. You want to show up for your brand terms or your key services, the locations you serve, you want to be there. AEO, on the other hand, is all about positioning your content to be the answer in AI powered tools. So things like ChatGPT or Google's AI overview, Perplexity, even Alexa and Siri, things like that. Instead of just aiming for someone to click your link, pop onto your website, and hopefully convert, AEO aims for your content to be cited directly in the answer. So next time you search for something in Google or you see the AI overviews, you'll see there that there are websites that are listed that are actually fueling that model and fueling that answer. That's where you want to be. So think about it this way: SEO gets you seen, AEO gets you chosen. And in today's environment, really, you honestly need both. SEO still drives traffic from a traditional search standpoint, right? So AEO is then, on the other hand, ensures that when someone asks a question related to your brand or your services, whether that's an AI chat or even a voice device, your brand is what they hear or see first. Okay, moving on to our second question here. So, what are some practical steps to start leveraging AEO, especially if you're already doing SEO? If you're already doing SEO, you've got a great head start. Especially if it's quality SEO, you're probably already showing up in some of the AI overviews within Google, I'd assume. First step, though, if you're not, would be to identify some exact questions that your audience is asking, whether that's about your products, your services, your brand, etc. You can pull these insights from tools like Google Search Console, which is a free tool. There are third-party tools you can pay for as well that can help you pull that information. Listen to the forums, like things like Reddit or even social media. See how people are interacting with your hashtags or the pages, etc., and see really what are people asking and how can we address that. The next step would be to create content that answers those questions directly. You start small, write 2 or 3 sentences right at the top of your content, whatever that might be, and then expand that with context from there. I've seen that tools like Google and ChatGPT love the data structured that way. Speaking of structured data, there's things you can add like schema markup to your site. That could be things like FAQs, how-tos, Q&As, things like that that can really help format your data in a way that's really easy for these AI tools to understand and ultimately spit out their results within the respective tools. Keep the tone conversational. AI models, they tend to favor content that feels natural, that sounds natural, and it's easy to instead of stuffing it with keywords, as we say in the SEO realm. Try not to stuff it with keywords. Keep it conversational. If you want to start small, build a small FAQ page and go from there. Optimize it for a couple of the highly asked questions that you're seeing on those tools that we mentioned, and start to measure. Add the schema markup on there and start to measure, like, are my questions being answered in Google or ChatGPT? See if we're getting cited within these tools or the featured snippets on Google. And once you see what works, start scaling it larger and larger and larger. Third question: why is AEO becoming so critical in 2025, and what changes in user behavior are driving this shift? Well, AI, as we know it, has fundamentally changed even within the year of 2025. When you started this year versus now, the AI tools we're using have changed so much. There's different models within ChatGPT. New tools are emerging. It's like every day. The way that people search then ultimately has changed as a result of that as well. More and more users are looking for instant answers or results or instant guides, not a list of links to go through. That's just the reality of what it is. AI-powered tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, or even voice assistants, really they deliver real, instant results that are directly within the conversation. If you're anything like me, I have a lot of long conversations with ChatGPT that have multiple links and resources within them, and that's exactly what people are looking for. When it comes to Google, these are often called zero-click results or zero-click searches, right? meaning the user gets what they need after typing into Google without actually ever visiting a website. Seeing huge growth as well within voice and conversational search. So the queries are longer, or like longer tailed keywords is what we're saying. They're more specific, but more natural. People are speaking to AI really in the same way that they'd ask a friend a question. Like, hey, do you know a good repairman within 15 minutes of here that's not going to overcharge me? Things like that. Like that could be a search you could throw into ChatGPT. The brands that adapt to this shift really, by making their content easy for AI to scrape and extract and cite, they're going to be winning those searches, right? They're going to be building that visibility, that trust within these different AI tools, and they're probably not going to disappear from the results page. Those that don't risk disappearing from the discovery process altogether, that's where you want to be. Cool. Next question. Can you share a real-world example or success story from KORTX? Yeah, sure. So one recent example, we work with a couple different clients here who have multi-location services and multi-location franchises that had a lot of great information on the websites, but it really wasn't formatted in a way that AI tools could use. So what we did is we restructured some data in an FAQ style format and a conversational format as well, asking questions, giving those answers, added the right schema to that, and refined the content in a way that really was crystal clear and concise for tools to follow. We did this with AI in mind, AI first, if you will. And within really like less than a month, we started seeing, more results show up within these zero-click or AI searches, right? Answering questions, showing up some featured snippets, and showing up in pages really where like we frankly like had no right showing up, where we were outranking, domains that had much higher authority than we did, and simply just by structuring the data in the right way. That zero-click visibility really jumped up quite a bit, and we saw a noticeable lift in leads. We noticed a noticeable lift in impressions as well, and just by making their content, easily accessible to AI tools and in an answer-friendly style. Sure. So how do you measure AEO success? We found, and what I like to say is, with AEO, rankings are less important. It's about presence. It's about authority. You want to be the one that's being cited within these results. So things you want to track is how often is your content appearing in featured snippets, the AI answers, and even voice assistant responses. There are tools out there that can help you monitor that as well. But, like a lot of business owners, they'll Google themselves and see what shows up. If you see yourself showing up within the results, or you see yourself showing up within the AI overviews, you've done it right. They also measure growth within, like we'll call the zero-click impressions or zero-click searches, and seeing that branded query visibility increasing. Any referrals from AI-driven tools you can catch with different tracking, right? If you have any sort of Google Analytics tracking, things like that, UTM tracking, you can start to catch some of those tools and ultimately see within your website, like, hey, we actually got traffic from this. This is actually working in more ways than one. And of course, any engagement or leads that you come through that might come from those tools. I've heard people in the industry say like, hey, like ChatGPT resulted in a lead to my business. That's crazy, but that's where we're at. Over time, you should see your brand start to be cited more often, and your organic conversions growing from these tools, and your authority as well, right? This is the new age of search, and search engine optimization is evolved to AI, and you want to be the one that's cited within those answers. Even if that doesn't result in a click, if you're showing up within the AI overviews and your site is being crawled, indexed, and then referenced, we'd like to count that as a win. So in conclusion, AEO is not a replacement directly for SEO. Having quality SEO is still crucial to your website. Showing up within Google for the right keywords, that's still not going away. What AEO does is that extra layer on top of that you're answering those questions in a different format that users are now expecting. What you can do now, if you're curious and you really want to start showing up, a couple takeaways. Taking a look at the questions people are asking about your brand or your services, products, whatever that might be. Creating the content that answers that on your website, using things like schema and structured data markup to tell the models or tell the AI tools what it is you're answering, who you are, and what you can do to help. And ultimately, that will help you kind of stay ahead of the curve, right? While your competitors are still wondering, what is AEO? You'll be showing up already within those results, and they'll start to be jealous. Here at KORTX, we can help you do exactly that. We're helping clients figuring out the questions people are asking about their brands. We're helping them show up places, and right after creating content, we're showing up within the AI overview. So we're helping clients do that, and we'd love to help you do that as well. So if you have any questions, give us a shout. Once again, my name is Josh Pettovello. Thank you.